Namaste everyone. Welcome back to another exciting adventure. Today we are heading to one of the most sacred and breathtaking places in India. A destination often called heaven on earth. Yes, you guessed it right. Kedarnath Dham. Nestled amidst the majestic Himalayas at an altitude of over 11,700 feet, Kedarnath is not just a temple, it's an experience that touches your soul. In this video, I'll take you through our complete journey, from the base camp, the challenging trek, stunning Himalayan views, and finally the divine darshan of Baba Kedarnath. So sit back, relax, and join us on this unforgettable pilgrimage. Our journey began from Guptkashi, where we stayed overnight before the trek. To avoid crowds and complete a major portion of the trek before sunrise, we started around 1:30 a.m. Our destination was Sonprayag, which is approximately 20 to 25 kilometers away from Guptkashi. Due to traffic restrictions during the Yatra season, our cab dropped us nearly 1 kilometer before Sonprayag. From there, we walked towards the shared taxi stand that takes pilgrims to Gaurikund, the official starting point of the Kedarnath trek. Fortunately, we found a shared cab quickly, but because of heavy traffic, even that vehicle could only take us close to Gaurikund. The remaining distance had to be covered on foot. But honestly, the excitement of starting the trek was much greater than any inconvenience. Finally, at around 4:30 a.m., we started our trek towards Kedarnath. The cool mountain breeze, the sound of the Mandakini River, and the darkness slowly giving way to the first rays of sunrise created an unforgettable atmosphere. With every step, we gained altitude, and the scenery became more spectacular. The mighty Mandakini River flowed alongside us, while the towering mountains of the Kedar Valley stood silently, welcoming thousands of devotees making the spiritual journey. For those who are unable to walk the entire distance, there are several transportation options available throughout the route. Ponies and horses for individual travelers. Palki or Doli, where 4 people carry a seated pilgrim. Kandi, a basket-like seat carried by a single porter. Helicopter services from locations such as Fata and Guptkashi for those who prefer to avoid the trek completely. These services make Kedarnath accessible to pilgrims of almost all age groups. As the sun rose, the beauty of the valley became even more mesmerizing. Throughout the route, we crossed numerous waterfalls flowing down from the mountains. The fresh mountain air, dense greenery, and the sound of nature made every step enjoyable. The major stops during the first phase of the trek include Jungle Chatti Bhimbali, Rambara Memorial Area. These locations have food stalls, resting areas, medical facilities, and drinking water points where trekkers can take short breaks before continuing their journey. After crossing Bheem, the route crosses a bridge connecting the other side of the valley. This is where the real challenge begins. The trail becomes steeper, and the increasing altitude starts testing your stamina. Every few hundred meters feels like a small achievement. The major stops after this section include Linchauli Chani Camp, Base Camp, Kedarnath. These points provide much-needed rest before the final climb toward the temple. Despite the physical exhaustion, the incredible Himalayan views keep motivating you to move forward. As we got closer to Kedarnath, the landscape transformed completely. The lush green valleys slowly gave way to rugged terrain, glaciers, and snow-covered peaks. The towering Himalayan mountains seemed as if they were calling us forward, encouraging us to take those final steps. Standing amidst these gigantic mountains makes you realize how small we are compared to nature's grandeur. It teaches humility and reminds us to respect and protect this beautiful planet. After hours of trekking, we finally reached Kedarnath. The feeling is difficult to describe in words. All the tiredness instantly disappeared the moment we saw the temple standing proudly against the backdrop of snow-covered mountains. We checked into our tent accommodation, had some food, and decided to rest before attending the early morning darshan. The next day we woke up around 3:30 a.m. The entire temple town was already awake. On our way to the temple, we saw small tea stalls and breakfast shops serving pilgrims preparing for darshan. Pilgrims were standing in queues to obtain darshan tokens, which are required for both regular and special darshan. The cold Himalayan morning, combined with the chants of Har Har Mahadev, created a truly spiritual atmosphere. The moment you enter the temple premises, something changes inside you. The energy, peace, and devotion surrounding the temple are unlike anything else. All the pain, fatigue, and effort of the trek simply disappear. That's the magic of Kedarnath. We spent some time sitting peacefully outside the temple, chanting the name of Lord Shiva and absorbing the divine atmosphere. It was one of those rare moments where time seemed to stand still. After darshan, we explored the area around the temple. Behind the temple stands the famous Bheem Shila, a massive rock that played a crucial role during the devastating 2013 Uttarakhand floods. When massive floods and debris rushed down the valley in 2013, this giant boulder positioned itself directly behind the temple. It diverted the force of the flood waters into two streams, significantly reducing the impact on the temple structure and helping save it from destruction. Many devotees Kedarnath is much more than a trek. It's a journey of faith, endurance, self-discovery, and devotion. The challenging climb, the breathtaking Himalayan landscapes, the roaring Mandakini River, and finally, the divine presence of Baba Kedarnath create memories that stay with you forever. If you've ever dreamed of visiting Kedarnath, I would highly recommend experiencing it at least once in your lifetime. Har Har Mahadev. Just behind the temple, you'll also find the statue and memorial dedicated to Adi Shankaracharya, the great philosopher who is believed to have revived and established the significance of Kedarnath centuries ago. Standing there, surrounded by mountains, it's easy to understand why sages and saints chose this place for meditation and spiritual practice. After completing our Kedarnath trek, we returned to our stay in the beautiful village of Narayankoti near Guptkashi. By this time, our bodies were completely exhausted after the long trek. Every muscle was asking for rest. But sometimes, the mountains have a different plan for you. While our bodies wanted sleep, our minds wanted to explore more of this beautiful region before darkness settled in. So me, Vikram, and our senior trekker Neil decided to step out and explore the village. As we walked through the narrow village paths, we found ourselves surrounded by traditional stone houses, terraced fields, and stunning mountain views. The peaceful atmosphere of the village was a complete contrast to the crowds and excitement of Kedarnath. What impressed us the most was the warmth of the local people. Everywhere we went, villagers greeted us with smiles and happily shared stories about their village and local traditions. It never felt like we were tourists visiting an unfamiliar place. Instead, it felt as though we were visiting a relative's village where everyone knew each other and welcomed guests with open hearts. We spent the evening wandering through the village lanes, admiring the scenery and soaking in the simplicity of mountain life. Narayankoti is truly one of those hidden gems that deserves much more attention. And it's definitely a place we would love to visit again. While exploring the village, we came across a fascinating group of small stone temples. The sight instantly caught our attention. Around the temple complex, local children were playing cricket, reminding us of our own childhood days spent playing without a care in the world. As we entered one of the temples, two young kids from the village enthusiastically joined us and began sharing stories about the temple complex and the annual festivals celebrated here. It was amazing to see how connected the younger generation is with their cultural heritage. These are the famous Navagraha Temple complex located in Narayankoti village. The temple complex is believed to date back several centuries and is known for its unique collection of ancient stone temples built in the traditional Himalayan architectural style. The next morning, as we continued our journey towards Badrinath, we made a stop at one of the most important temples in the region, Vishwanath Temple. This ancient temple is dedicated to Lord Shiva and holds immense religious significance. According to Hindu mythology, after the great Kurukshetra war, the Pandavas sought forgiveness from Lord Shiva for the sins committed during the war. Lord Shiva, however, did not wish to meet them and disguised himself as a bull while hiding in the Garhwal Himalayas. It is believed that before eventually appearing at Kedarnath, Lord Shiva concealed himself in Guptkashi. In fact, the name Guptkashi literally means hidden Kashi, referring to the place where Shiva remained hidden. Standing inside this centuries-old temple, surrounded by the chants of devotees and the backdrop of Himalayan peaks, offers a peaceful and deeply spiritual experience. Now sit back and enjoy the breathtaking views of the Badrinath Highway.